Hello students, in this video we are going to study about the implicit differentiation. Now, in order to understand that what implicit differentiation is, you should know that how to take the derivatives of the y with respect to x and how can we take the derivatives of terms involving the x with respect to x. So, for example, take the basic things. Okay, so the derivative of x is 1. But if we say what is the derivative of y, so it is y prime. Or you can, if you don't like the y prime to write, then you can also write dy by dx. Similarly, if we have, for example, the derivative of a constant with the x, that means nx, so the derivative will be only n because the derivative of x is 1. But if we say that what is the derivative of ny, so with respect to x, so it will be n y prime. Or if you don't want to write y prime, you can say n and then dy by dx. But it is comfortable to write the y prime rather than dy by dx. Okay, now if we have x to the power n, so the derivative of x with any power, it will be nx and n minus 1. But what if we say take the derivative of ny with some power? So you will, sorry, y to the power n. So what you will do, you will take ny, n minus 1, then the y prime. It means the derivative of y also. Why? Here we are actually applying the chain rule. That means that we will consider the y as the composite function. Okay, now for example, you have x to the power 3. So how can you take the derivative of x cube? It will be 3x square. But if you have y cube, so the derivative of y cube will be 3y square, same as we do for the x. But after that, take the derivative of the inner function, that is y prime. Similarly, for example, if I have x power 2, take the derivative. So it will be 2x. But if I say take the derivative of y square, so it will be 2y and then y prime. So don't forget this y prime in terms of when you take the derivative of the y. So similarly, if I say take the derivative of sine x, so the derivative of sine x will be cosine x. But if I ask you to take any trigonometric function with the y as the angle, so what is the derivative of sine y? It will be cos y, but the angle is the inner function. So in other case, you have to write the y prime. So these are the basic rules you have to apply while solving the questions involving the implicit differentiation. Let's try to solve some basic questions involving the implicit differentiation. If the question is given in the form of x squared plus y squared equals to 16. Let's start taking the derivatives with respect to x. So the derivative of x squared will be 2x, means you bring the 2 in the shoulder and from the power we subtract 1, so it will give you 2x. After that, the derivative of y with respect to x, bring the 2 in the shoulder, write the y from the power minus 1, so you will get the 1. We don't write the power 1. Once it is done, take the derivative of y, keeping in mind that the derivative of y to the power n equals to ny n minus 1 and then take the derivative of y equals to the derivative of a constant is 0. Once the derivatives have been taken, you have to solve for the y. It means keep the y prime on one side. You have to solve for y prime because you have to find out the first derivative. So keep the y prime, the terms involving the y prime on the left hand side and bring the remaining terms on the other side. So the positive 2x will goes to the other side and it will gives you negative 2x. Divide both sides by 2y because you have to solve for y prime and it will gives you y prime equals to 2 will be cancelled from this 2 minus x over y. So this is the way we take the first derivative. Now let's suppose in the same question, if they ask you to find out the second derivative. What if they ask you to find out the second derivative? So when x and y are written together in the form of quotient, then in order to take the derivatives, apply the quotient rule. So y double prime, because you are taking the derivative of the derivative, use the quotient rule, according to which if the numerator is f and the denominator is given by the g, you have to apply the quotient rule, which says gf prime minus fg prime over g square. So what is our g? That is our y. And f prime, it means minus x with the prime, minus f, that is negative x, and g prime, which is y prime. And in the denominator, there is g square, that means y square. Now solve and take the derivatives where necessary. So y double prime equals to y, derivative of negative x is negative 1. So the derivative of negative x is negative 1. So negative 1 times y gives you negative y. After that, minus times minus gives you plus x, and the derivative of y is y prime over y square. Now when you write the final answer, only write in terms of x or y. Now you can see here there is something written as y prime. So just put the value of y prime from here, which you already have taken, and just put it in the equation. So you can say y double prime. So you can have a close look that y double prime, y prime is minus x over y. So y double prime equals to negative y plus x. And now replace y prime by negative x over y over y square. Now solve means simplify. Minus y plus minus minus x times x gives you x square over y, all upon y. Now you can, subject to the options, if the options are given, you can leave it over here. But if they are giving you more simplified form, then what you will do, look at the above numerator, which is already given in the form of numerator and denominator, makes the denominator alike. How? Multiply this side by the y to make them alike, and here one which you don't need it. Now write the denominator. This denominator I am writing over here. And now about this denominator. So write the denominator one time, that is y, and multiply. Y times negative y gives you negative y square, and negative x square times negative x square. Now you all know that a over b over c, it is a over bc. So finally you can write it as negative y square minus x, that is your a, and bc, it means y and y are multiplying, which is y square. So I hope that you already understood the concept that how we can solve the second derivative. Now let's practice few more questions. So it is negative y, negative x square and y square. Yes, everything is correct. Let's solve one more question. What if you have been given as x to the power half minus y to the power half equals to 16, for example? So what you will do, first of all, you will apply the power rule, bring the power in the shoulder, write the variable, from the power subtract 1, so you will get negative half. Now do or apply the same power rule in order to take the derivative of the y with respect to x. So you will write half y to the power negative half. Since you are applying the implicit differentiation, so you have to write the y prime. And the derivative of 16 is 0. Now solve for y prime. So bring the x values on the other side and keep the y prime's values on the left hand side as it is. So it will gives you negative half x to the power negative half. Now divide the both terms by negative half y to the power negative half in order to find the y prime value. So in the end, half will be cancelled with the half. You will get y prime equals to x to the power negative half divided by y to the power negative half. Now, if this is the option, then just this is your answer. Otherwise, try to write the final answer with the positive exponent. What does it mean? That here x has a negative power, which is not nice to write as a final answer. So shift the place of x, bring it in the denominator, and it will give you positive half. Same way, bring the y to the power negative half in the numerator, and on changing or on shifting the place, the power sign is changed. So this is your final answer. If the option is given in this way, then okay. Otherwise, you know that the value of, if the exponent is half, it can be written as the square root. So the other answer or other option can be square root of y divided by square root of x. So this is how we took the derivative, the first derivative using implicit differentiation. Let's move to another example. Moves to another example. X, y equals to 1. How can we solve such kind of the questions? Now x and y are written together, so always use the product rule. Now consider f as x as f and g as y. So here, according to the product rule of differentiation, fg prime plus gf prime is can be applied if the two functions are asked, they are multiplying with each other and you are asked to take the derivatives. So f means x, g prime means y prime, and plus g means y, and f prime means x prime, or x prime, you all know this is equals to 1. So I can write it here 1 also. And the derivative of 1 is 0. So I'm just writing to show you xy prime plus y equals to 0. Solve for y prime. So bring the y prime on the other side and it will gives you, bring the y on the other side, it will gives you negative y. Divide both sides by the x and it will gives you negative y over x. Now let's solve the same kind of the questions, but let's try to find the slope of the tangent line. Slope of the tangent line and write the equation of tangent line. Equation of tangent. So let's suppose the example, the question is x square plus xy plus y square equals to 1. And the points are given as 1 and 1. So the question is, find the slope of tangent line. So you all know that when we talk about the slope of tangent line, it means we have to find out the derivative first. So the derivative of x square is 2x. Now here x and y, it means you have to use the product rule, according to which fg prime plus gf prime. So f is x, g prime is y prime, plus g is y, and f prime is 1 because the derivative of x is 1. plus take the derivative of y square, it means 2y and y prime equals to the derivative of 1 is 0. Now first of all solve it. Solve for y prime means find the y prime. So keep all the terms that has y prime on the left hand side. This and this one. So keep the terms which has the y prime on the left hand side. So what you will do, xy prime minus 2y y prime. And now bring all the terms which doesn't carry the y prime on the other side. So this 2x, bring it on the right hand side, gives you negative 2x. Similarly, plus y, bring it to the other side, it will gives you negative y. Once it is done, take the y prime common. It means factor them. So, take the y prime common, open the bracket. What is left? First, from the first term, x is left. Then the sign minus is left. And from the second term, 2y is left. Close the bracket. Write all the terms written in the right hand side as it is. Now, in order to solve for y prime, you have to divide with all the terms written and multiplying with the y prime. So your final answer is y prime equals to minus 2x minus y divided by x minus 2y. No need to simplify more. This is the derivative. Now, what is slope? Slope is actually the derivatives of the derivative. So now in order to find the slope, you can denote it with the m. Slope equals to wherever, now look at the points in the question, the points are 1, that means the x value is 1 and the y value is also 1. So in the derivative, replace x by 1 and y by 1. So what you are going to write, you will write negative 2 in place of x, just write 1. Look at, focus here, minus y, the value of y is 1. Then x is 1 minus 2, the value of y is 1. So minus 2 minus 1, it gives you minus 3 and 1 minus 2 minus 1, so minus. So you will get m as 3. Now write out the point slope form in order to finalize and write the equation of the tangent line, and according to the point slope form, y minus y1 equals to m bracket x minus x1. Now look at the points y1 and x1. You can get them from again the question. So this point is x1 and the other point is y1. So write down, in place of y1 write the 1, the m, that is what, that is the term which you, that is the value which you already have found, that is 3. X minus x1 is the 1, the point which is given in the question. Now open the bracket by using the distributive property, that is 3x minus 3. Bring the 1 on the other side, so it gives you plus 1 on the other side. Now finalize the answer, that is 3x minus 3 plus 1 gives you minus 2. And this is the final answer, that means the equation of the tangent line. Let's practice one more question, that how to write the slope of the tangent line and determine the equation of the tangent line. So what if the question is given in the form of cos x minus sine y equals to, for example, what? So how can we solve and the values are 0 and sine 0 and let's suppose pi over 2. These are the values which they gave you. Now let's see how to find. In order to find the slope, the first thing is that you have to find the derivative. So derivative of cos x is negative sine x. This negative is here. Derivative of sine y is cos y prime, equals to derivative of 1 is 0. So remember that actually we use the chain rule. That means the derivative of sine u is the inner function. It is equals to cos u, and then the derivative of inner function, that is u prime. So we normally consider y as the inner function. That's why we apply the same kind of formula. Okay, now keep the y prime terms on the left hand side and bring the other terms on the right hand side. So negative sine x goes to the other side and it becomes positive sine x. Now all the terms that are multiplying with the y prime, divide them in order to separate the y prime. So negative cos y. So y prime equals to sine x over negative cos y. Now, this is the first derivative. You have to find the slope. It means replace x by the pi by 2 and y by the 0. So you will get sine pi over 2 divided by minus cos of 0. Now sine pi by 2 is 1 and cos 0 is 1 and you have negative cos 0. So this is negative 1. Write it, and 1 divided by negative 1 gives you negative 1. So the value of the slope or the slope is equals to negative 1 for this equation. After that, you have to write the point slope form, that is y minus y1 equals to m bracket x minus x1. Now replace x1 by pi over 2 and y1 by 0. So you will get y minus 0 equals to m, the value that you have found for the slope, and x minus x1 is pi over 2. Now open the bracket using the distributive property. So you will get negative x plus pi over 2, and hence this is the equation of tangent line. So I hope that all the concepts are clear, and in order to check the higher level of the questions, you must see the part 2 of the same implicit differentiation, in order to clear your doubts. And if you have any queries, just send me the comments and write any question if you want me to explain any kind of the concept. Thank you so much.